The galaxy was wide and full of life, but there were still many mysteries hidden between stars. Among the many civilizations, the Vorel Union was known as peaceful and polite. They valued trade, learning, and culture more than battles. They believed every new species could be a friend if treated with respect. For many years, the Vorel Union welcomed visitors from different worlds. They offered safe ports, markets, and diplomatic halls for all travelers. But there was always one old rumor that floated through history books: a species called humans. They were mentioned in ancient texts, sometimes described as brave explorers, sometimes as fierce warriors. No one knew if those stories were true. They sounded like legends told by old space travelers. Then on a calm morning, the Vorel Union scanners detected something unusual. A fleet of unknown ships was traveling through their space. The ships were large, covered in metal armor, and decorated with strange symbols. Their thrusters shone like blue fire. At first, the Vorel Union thought it might be a merchant fleet, but when the readings continued, the workers in the control station began to worry. There were hundreds of ships. Some were massive, shaped like floating fortresses. Others looked like carriers, maybe full of travelers or goods. The news traveled quickly across cities and planets. Citizens gathered around screens in markets and homes. Children pointed at the holograms floating in the sky, asking their parents if these new arrivals were dangerous. Most parents smiled and said everything would be fine. After all, the Union was peaceful, and peace often invited peace. Inside the central diplomatic hall, Counselor Raul Varan studied the data with a thoughtful face. He had silver skin that shimmered softly in the light and large, gentle eyes. His voice was calm as he addressed his advisors. "We must greet them," he said. "If these are the humans from old stories, then this moment is historic. Our ancestors wrote about them with respect." Another counselor, Sierra Moore, looked less comfortable. Her voice trembled slightly. "But they also wrote about wars," she reminded gently. "We do not know their intentions." Raul Varan nodded. "Which is why we welcome them first. Friendship is offered before fear." The council prepared a grand ceremony. Flags and lights decorated the landing port. Musicians practiced alien instruments and diplomats rehearsed speeches. When the human fleet reached the nearest planet, it slowed and formed a perfect formation around orbit. Their precision surprised many. It looked like a military display, but no weapons were fired. The humans sent a message across all channels. "This is Ambassador Maria Hale of the United Human Coalition. We come in peace and request permission to land." Her voice was clear and confident. The Union granted permission, and soon after a shuttle descended through the clouds. When it landed, the doors opened slowly. Out stepped Ambassador Maria Hale, dressed in a formal uniform, black with silver lines. Her expression was warm and she bowed politely. Her guards followed behind her, tall in environmental suits. Their visors glowed softly, hiding their faces. The Vorel citizens whispered among themselves. Humans looked different but not frightening. Their eyes were sharp, full of curiosity, as if they measured everything carefully. Counselor Raul Varan stepped forward with a welcoming smile. "We greet you in peace, Ambassador Hale. We welcome humanity to the Vorel Union." Maria bowed again. "We are honored. Our fleet travels across the stars to build friendships and trade routes. We hope to share knowledge and offer protection in dangerous regions." Her words were gentle, but behind the shuttle, the windows of human battleships glowed red like giant eyes watching silently. Defense cannons sat ready, though not pointed at anyone. Sierra Moore could not stop staring at them. "Why do they need so many weapons if they seek peace?" She whispered to Raul Varan. Raul replied softly, "Maybe they have suffered many wars. Maybe peace to them is something protected." The ceremony continued with gifts. The Vorel presented crystals that held memories and melodies from their culture. Humans offered devices that could purify water and grow plants in poor soil. It was a thoughtful gift respected by farmers and engineers. News reporters interviewed humans carefully. They noticed humans always moved with discipline, and even when they smiled, their hands never left their sides. It was like they were trained to stay alert. Later, the human fleet requested diplomatic talks inside the Union's main hall. Maria Hale spoke clearly. "Humanity wishes to open a trade route here. We also offer assistance against pirate groups that attack travelers." Raul Varan looked grateful. "That is generous. We do have trouble in some sectors." A voice echoed in the hall, a young Vorel diplomat. "And your cannons, Ambassador. Are they also for trade?" The room became silent. Maria Hale did not look angry. She spoke calmly, as if she had been asked the question many times. "Our cannons are not here to threaten," she said. "They are here to ensure friendship is respected. When we promise peace, we keep that promise, and no one should force us to break it." Some aliens nodded slowly. They could sense honesty in her tone. Yet others whispered nervously. They had never seen ships that big. Meanwhile, in a nearby building, General Aaron Vell, commander of the Vorel defense, watched everything on screens. His face was serious. "Their formation is perfect," he muttered to his officers. "Their cannons are positioned to cover all angles. This is not a simple visit." Another officer asked, "Should we prepare our fleet?" Aaron shook his head. "Not yet. But we will observe. Humans think like warriors, even when they speak like diplomats." That night, a celebration party was held to welcome humanity. Food stalls offered local dishes and music filled the air. Citizens stood close to human visitors, curious about their homeworld. They asked about Earth culture and human art. Human soldiers were polite but rarely removed the helmets of their suits. When asked why, one answered gently, "It keeps us in perfect condition. Many worlds have bacteria that can hurt us." The answer sounded reasonable, but some aliens wondered if the helmets also hid expressions that might reveal too much. At the edge of the crowd, a small group of scholars studied the human ships through telescopes. One whispered, "Those cannons look old-fashioned, but their energy signatures are advanced. They are not simple weapons. They might be strategic defense cannons." Another scholar replied, "Old texts said humans used such cannons to defeat entire empires. But that was thousands of years ago. Surely those are only stories." No one noticed a small electronic drone floating above them. It belonged to the human fleet and was recording everything silently. During the celebration, Maria Hale met Counselor Raoul Varon privately on a balcony overlooking the lights of the city. The soft glow of floating lanterns lit the sky. "I thank you for your hospitality," Maria said quietly. Raoul smiled. "It is our way. Peace is built on kindness." Maria gazed at the stars. "Peace is built on readiness too," she said. "The galaxy grows dangerous. Many species are hungry for power. We have seen worlds fall." Raoul's smile faded slightly. "You speak as if you expect trouble." Maria nodded. "We always expect trouble, Counselor. That is the only way to stop it." Raoul understood then. Humans did not bring weapons because they wished to fight. They brought weapons because they feared the day others would. When dawn came, the human fleet shifted position. They formed a protective ring around the planet, almost like a shield. No threat was detected, but it seemed like a habit, something they did every sunrise. Citizens watched from windows and balconies. Some felt safer. Others felt watched. General Arinvel narrowed his eyes. "Their discipline is worrying," he murmured. "They are ready for war at a moment's notice," an officer beside him replied. "But they also helped repair our docks. Their engineers fixed broken ports for free," Arin sighed. "Yes, they bring kindness with one hand, but with the other they hold a cannon." Rumors began to spread across the city. Some said human ships carried weapons strong enough to crack moons. Others claimed humans once fought machines that destroyed planets. Most did not know which rumors were true. The final scene of the day took place in a quiet garden. Maria Hale stood alone, looking at a hologram of a blue planet, Earth. She whispered to herself, "We offer peace first. But they must know we can protect it." A young Vorel child approached her holding a glowing flower. "Are you dangerous?" the child asked softly. Maria knelt, accepted the flower, and smiled kindly. "Only to those who harm our friends." The child nodded, satisfied, and ran away. Maria looked up at the sky again. The cannons on human ships glowed faintly in orbit, peaceful yet ready, like silent promises written in metal. That night, the Vorel Union slept with mixed feelings. Some dreamed of new friendships and shared futures. Others dreamed of past wars long forgotten. Far away, old historians opened dusty books and searched for answers. On faded pages was a warning written long ago. Humanity comes with open hands. But behind those hands they carry cannons, not to conquer but to guard. And as the stars turned slowly, the galaxy whispered, "Humanity has returned." The following days passed with a mixture of calm and curiosity. The presence of the human fleet became a normal sight in the skies of the Vorel Union. Every morning, citizens woke to the view of giant metal shapes floating above like silent guardians. Their cannons remained pointed toward empty space, never toward the planet. Still, many wondered why such power was needed. Inside the Union's archives, a group of historians worked quietly. They were curious about the old stories of humanity. One of them, archivist Leona, pulled out a book written centuries ago. It had faded pages, but the words were clear. "It says humans once stood against the Great Dominion," she explained to her team. "Their cannons were famous. They could destroy huge enemy ships in one shot." Another archivist leaned closer. "But the Dominion from old times was a cruel empire. These humans might be different now." Leona nodded slowly. "Yes, maybe. But we should understand who they were, to know who they are." While historians searched for answers, the public welcomed humans warmly. Crowds gathered outside spaceports to see human engineers repairing damaged buildings and teaching local workers. Human doctors offered medical help in free clinics. Children laughed when human officers showed them small training robots. The kindness impressed many. But General Arenvell still watched carefully. In the Defense Center, he studied human battle patterns on his holographic map. "Their fleet never rests," he said to his officers. "They rotate shifts every hour. Their radars watch every corner of space. They behave like soldiers guarding a border." His officers exchanged nervous looks. "Do you think they plan to attack?" one asked. Aaron shook his head. "No. If humans wanted to harm us, they would not hide it. They would simply do it. This behavior is preparation. They expect danger." Meanwhile, deep inside the human flagship UHS Resolute, Ambassador Maria Hale met with her commander, Jax Rowan. The command room was quiet, filled with holographic screens showing star charts and energy readings. Jax's expression was thoughtful, as he pointed at a blinking region on the map. "Pirate signals here and here. They are moving toward the trade routes." Maria sighed. "The Vorel fleet is too slow. If pirates attack, hundreds of travelers could be in danger." Jax nodded. "Our cannons are ready. We can respond fast." Maria rested a hand on the table. "We must avoid looking aggressive. The Union already fears our strength." Jax's eyes narrowed slightly. "Strength is what keeps peace alive. Kindness without protection is fragile." Maria understood. She had seen peaceful worlds fall before. She glanced at the holographic display of the Union's planets. "We will wait, but if anyone threatens them, we defend." Far below, rumors continued to spread among citizens. Some believed humanity was here to form strong friendships. Others feared humans were preparing to rule. Families discussed at dinner, merchants talked in markets, and students debated in classrooms. In the Union University, a debate class gathered. A young student named Tyrion stood and declared, "Humans are powerful because they learned from the past. Their cannons are like shields." Another student shook her head. "But why travel with shields unless you expect enemies?" Their teacher, an elderly scholar, smiled. "Sometimes those who protect others must always be ready. We cannot judge too quickly." Still, uncertainty stayed in the air like cold wind. On the fourth day, Counselor Sierra Moore requested a private meeting with Ambassador Hale. They sat across a round table, sunlight falling between them. Sierra began carefully. "Your kindness is appreciated, Ambassador, but some of our citizens feel uneasy when they see your cannons." Maria listened quietly. She folded her hands together. "I understand, but you must also understand this. When we first left our homeworld, we found many species in conflict. We learned that peace must be guarded." Sierra leaned forward. "Then you do not trust us?" Maria shook her head gently. "On the contrary, it is not you we fear. It is the dangers that hide among stars." There was a moment of silence. Sierra slowly nodded. "Perhaps we are too peaceful. We stopped preparing for danger long ago." Maria smiled softly. "Peace is a treasure, but treasure must be protected." As the meeting ended, Sierra walked through the hallways deep in thought. She had always believed peace could be maintained through kindness alone. But humans showed another truth. Peace needed strength as well. Back at the Defense Center, General Arenvell's screen suddenly lit with red warnings. "Unknown ships detected at Sector 7. An officer yelled. Aaron straightened. "Identify." Another officer shouted. "Energy signatures match pirate vessels, 15 ships." Aaron's voice sharpened. "Dispatch Union fleet, they are too far," someone interrupted. "It will take 3 hours to reach the colony." 3 hours was too late. Pirates were ruthless thieves. They would steal resources and escape before anyone arrived. Aaron clenched his fist. We cannot abandon our citizens. Suddenly, a calm voice echoed across their communication system. This is Commander Jax Rowan of the United Human Coalition. We detected the pirate fleet. Permission to engage? The defense center fell silent. Aaron hesitated. If humans fought for them, the Union would owe them. But if they refused, innocent people could be harmed. Aaron closed his eyes briefly. Permission granted. Protect our citizens, Jax's voice remained calm. Understood. Moments later, the sky above Sector 7 exploded with light. Human cannons fired blue beams that disabled pirate engines without destroying the ships. Human fighters moved like arrows, surrounding pirates and forcing surrender. Civilians watched from windows, amazed. Some cried with relief. Human soldiers landed and helped repair damaged buildings. They offered food, comfort, and safety. News spread across the Union like fire. Humans had defended them faster than their own fleet. Children cheered when they saw human officers handing blankets to families. Farmers thanked human engineers for fixing power lines. A grandmother hugged a human doctor who saved her house from fire. When broadcast reporters arrived, they asked Commander Rowan, "Why risk your lives for us?" His answer became famous. Cannons are not tools for fear. They are promises of safety. The entire Union heard those words, yet not everyone celebrated. In a hidden room, a secret council gathered to discuss humanity's strength. The head counselor spoke slowly. Humans responded faster than our own forces. They have advanced weapons, strong discipline, and protective behavior. We must study them quietly. A spy whispered. We can send drones to watch their fleet. We can gather information. The head counselor nodded. We must understand humans. Knowledge is protection. Meanwhile, Ambassador Maria Hale visited Sector 7. She walked through damaged streets, speaking gently to families. When she met the local town leader, he grasped her hand with gratitude. You saved us. We will never forget, Maria smiled. We protect our friends. That is who we are. But somewhere deep in her mind, she remembered worlds the humans failed to save. That memory made her keep cannons close. That night, General Aronville stood alone on a balcony. He watched human ships glow like stars in orbit. He spoke quietly to himself. They are protectors, but they live like warriors. What shaped them? He did not know the answer. But he knew this. The galaxy had changed the moment humanity returned. The next morning, the Union held a small ceremony to thank humans for their help. Citizens applauded loudly and human soldiers bowed politely. But far above, hidden in the cold darkness of space, another fleet watched from a distance. Its ships had black armor and crimson lights. Their leader stared at human cannons through a screen. So humans have returned, he whispered, and they protect the Varel Union. His eyes narrowed with interest. We will test this new friendship soon. He turned away, and his fleet drifted silently back into the shadows. Back in the Union capital, old stories spread again. Historians found stronger warnings in dusty pages. Humanity offers peace. But if peace is broken, their cannons roar like storms. Archivist Leona closed the book slowly. She felt a chill. That evening, a group of children asked a human officer, "Why do you always train?" The officer smiled kindly. "We train so others don't have to." The children laughed, thinking it was a game. But the officer's eyes were serious. As stars filled the sky, Ambassador Maria watched them from her window. She whispered softly, "Darkness always returns. We must be ready." Below her, a Union citizen whispered to another, "They came in friendship." "Yes," the other replied, eyes shining. "But they carry cannons because they know friendship must be protected." And so the galaxy continued to whisper, "Humanity does not speak loudly. Their cannons speak for them." The news of the pirate attack and humanity's fast rescue spread across every planet in the Varel Union. For many citizens, humans were now heroes. Shops displayed human flags next to local banners. Children drew pictures of human ships in schools. Farmers named new machines after human engineers, but not everyone felt calm. Inside the High Council Tower, the Secret Council met again. Their chamber was quiet, and a soft blue light glowed from crystal lamps. The head counselor spoke slowly. Humans reacted faster than our fleet. Their cannons are powerful. Their discipline is unmatched. We must learn more about their technology. Counselor Juna, who specialized in security, nodded. We should study their fleet positions, number of weapons, and energy sources. Sierra Moore hesitated. But they saved our colony. Should we spy on friends? Juna replied gently. We do not spy to harm. We study to protect ourselves. Even friendly giants can step wrong. Finally, the council voted. They agreed to send small observation drones to watch the human fleet. Meanwhile, life inside the human flagship remained busy. In a large training room, human officers practiced maneuvers with silent focus. Their movements were sharp and quick. They used training drones to simulate emergencies. Every minute counted. Commander Jax Rowan watched from the balcony. He spoke to his second officer, Lyra Henson. Our cannons worked well, but some took too long to cool down. We must improve cooling cycles, Lyra nodded. Our engineers are working on it. They want to increase firing rate by 20%. Jax looked proud. Good. We protect our allies faster that way. He turned to the open window, watching the peaceful city below. Peace is beautiful, he whispered. It must be guarded. On the planet's surface, Ambassador Maria Hale held discussions with workers, business owners, and teachers. She asked them about trade needs, medicine shortages, and farming problems. She offered solutions calmly. One local farmer, Tyrell, held Maria's hands and said, Your people fixed our machines and saved our crops. We are grateful, Maria smiled. We share what we can. That is how trust grows. But when she walked away, she opened a private communication line tucked inside her collar. Status of the Dominion signals? She asked quietly. A human intelligence officer responded. Still faint. They are testing borders. They study us. Maria's face grew serious. Prepare protocols. If the Dominion attacks, we defend quickly. The officer replied. Understood. Maria closed the channel and sighed. She remembered old wars. She remembered planets that fell because they trusted too slowly. That night in the Voral University library, archivist Leona studied more ancient records with her assistants. Old pages described battles from long ago. Humans fought an empire known as the Iron Legion, she read aloud. They defended smaller worlds. Their cannons grew stronger after each battle. An assistant frowned. Why did humans stop traveling for so long? Leona answered softly. No one knows. Records simply end. Perhaps they returned home to rebuild. A student nearby listened secretly. He ran to tell his classmates. Rumors began again. As days passed, the Union's observation drones quietly floated near human ships. They recorded engine signatures and weapon shapes. The drones were small like metal insects and invisible in the dark of space, but the humans noticed. Deep inside the flagship, an alert tone chimed. A radar officer turned to Commander Jax. Unknown microsignals detected. Very small drones. No threat but watching us, Jax frowned. Vorel drones? Likely, the officer answered. Jax walked to the communication console and sent a message to Ambassador Maria. Our friends are watching us, quietly. Maria sighed. They fear what they do not understand. Do nothing. No aggression. Let them watch. They will learn we mean no harm. Jax nodded, but his eyes stayed cold. We are protectors, Ambassador, but protectors get mistrusted too often. Meanwhile, General Aaron Vell visited the damaged colony from the pirate attack. He wanted to see the results with his own eyes. When he arrived, he saw human soldiers teaching civilians how to build defense shields. Human doctors helped children who were injured. Aaron approached a human officer. You are helping them build defenses. Why? The officer smiled. So they can protect themselves next time. Aaron studied the officer's face. Humans do not teach others to depend on them. No, the officer answered. We teach others to stand strong. Then we stand beside them. Aaron walked away slowly, deep in thought. He expected pride. Instead, he found humility. The next morning, communication screens across the Union flashed red. A distress signal was coming from another trade route. Pirate ships again. Civilians screamed for help. Union fleet was too far. Commander Jax reacted instantly. All ships move. The human cannons glowed as they prepared to fire. Their beams disabled pirate drives. Human fighters moved with precision, surrounding the ships again. But this time, something strange happened. A larger pirate ship appeared. It was heavily armored and carried unknown symbols. Its energy signature was stronger. Union scanners could not identify it. Human scanners, however, recognized it immediately. Commander Jax whispered, "The Dominion, they are here." On the main screen, the Dominion captain appeared. His armored helmet and red eyes shined. So humans protect this weak union, he mocked. Interesting, Jax kept his voice calm. Stand down. You are attacking civilians. The Dominion captain laughed. We test new alliances. We test weak bonds. He fired without warning. The blast struck several Union cargo ships. They burned briefly before emergency shields activated. Jax's fists tightened. Fire cannons! Human beams collided with Dominion shields. The battle shook space. Civilians watched from screens, terrified. Inside the Union capital, Counselor Ral Varen shouted orders. Send every ship we have. General Aaron Vell replied, It will take time. Ral looked at the screen. Human ships fought alone against stronger enemies. Then hurry, he cried. On the battlefield, human ships moved like dancers. Their cannons targeted weak spots on enemy armor. Slowly, Dominion shields cracked, the Dominion captain growled. You fight like ancient records describe. Commander Jax's voice was steady. We learned from every war. Finally, a precise cannon blast disabled the Dominion ship. Engines failed. Weapons powered down. The Dominion captain vanished from the screen. Jax exhaled. Cease fire. No destruction. We disable. We do not erase. Human rescue teams saved civilians again. They repaired ships and comforted crying children. When Union ships finally arrived, they found humans had already won. General Aaron Vell saluted Commander Jax. You protected our people again. Jax nodded. We protect friends. This time there were no whispers of fear. Civilians cried tears of relief and hugged human officers. But high above, in a hidden chamber, the Secret Council watched the battle recordings again and again. They defeated Dominion ships without destroying them. Juna whispered. Why? Counselor Sierra Moore answered softly. Because destruction does not build friendship. The head counselor sighed. Perhaps. We judged too soon. Later that night, Ambassador Maria spoke to a crowd in the Capitol Plaza. We offered friendship first, she said calmly. But when danger arrives, our cannons protect. The citizens cheered loudly. As the crowd dispersed, General Aaron Vell approached Maria. You have earned our respect, he said. Your cannons. They do not threaten. They guard, Maria nodded. That is all we ever wanted others to understand. Before she left, Aaron asked one last question. Why do you train so hard? Maria paused. Because we lost peace once. We will not lose it again. She walked away, leaving Irene with heavy thoughts. Far away in dark space, the Dominion fleet retreated. Their leader whispered to himself, Humans are protectors, but protectors are dangerous obstacles. He opened a map of Vorel territory. We will return, and when we do, we will break their strength. His ships vanished into shadow. Back in the Union capital, archivist Leona discovered one final line in her ancient book. It read, Do not fear the humans' cannons. Fear the day they are silent. Leona shivered, because she understood. When humans stay silent, it means danger is already close, and as stars shone softly above, the galaxy whispered again, Humanity protects. Humanity guards. Their cannons are promises, made of steel. The calm that had returned to the Vorel Union did not last long. Just days after the Dominion fleet's retreat, warning signals lit up every planet and spaceport. A massive armada was approaching, faster than any Union fleet could respond. This time it was not a small pirate fleet. It was organized, dangerous, and determined. Counselor Ral Varen convened an emergency meeting. Holographic screens displayed hundreds of ships moving toward the Union's borders. Each vessel was heavily armed, black and red, glowing with energy. They are stronger than before, Ral said quietly, his eyes tense. The Dominion has returned. General Aaron Vell studied the readings. Their fleet has hundreds of warships. Even if we deploy everything, our fleet may not hold them. We need help. The council looked at each other nervously. Every member knew what help meant. Calling humanity again. Ral spoke slowly. Ambassador Maria Hale. The humans. We must request their intervention. Meanwhile, deep in orbit above the capital planet, the human fleet was already on alert. Commander Jax Rowan had predicted this. Energy spikes indicate a large force approaching, Jax said to his officers. They are testing the Union's defenses. Prepare for engagement. Ambassador Maria Hale entered the command room. Her expression was calm, but her eyes were serious. The Union citizens are in danger, she said. We do what we must, Jax nodded. Shall we warn the Dominion? Maria's lips tightened. No words. Let our actions speak. As the Dominion Armada entered Union space, the citizens watched from below in fear. The sky above the capital glowed red as hundreds of alien warships blocked the stars. Panic spread, but hope lingered because human ships had returned. From the flagship UHS Resolute, Maria spoke across the Union's communication channels. People of the Vorel Union, stay calm. We are here to protect you. Follow safety protocols and stay indoors until we secure the skies. In the control centers across planets, screens showed the Dominion fleet moving like predators, their weapons primed. They believed humans would not intervene directly. They assumed the humans were peaceful visitors, not warriors. They were about to learn their mistake. The first clash occurred near the outer trade route. A Dominion cruiser fired on a civilian transport. Human cannons reacted instantly, hitting the cruiser's engines with precise energy beams. The ship stopped dead in space, unable to move. Union fleets arrived slowly, amazed at the human's speed. General Aaron Vell observed from his command center. They are faster, stronger, and more precise than we imagined. Their cannons do not aim to kill, they aim to disable. Commander Jax Rowan coordinated with his subordinates. Target engines, not crew quarters. Disable, do not destroy. Civilians must remain safe. The Dominion fleet became enraged. They fight like legends, one officer muttered. They are human. We underestimated them. One by one, human cannons hit Dominion ships with surgical precision. Shields collapsed. Engines failed, but no unnecessary destruction occurred. The fleet moved like a wall of steel, protecting Union worlds. Inside the Union capital, Counselor Sierra Moore watched the battle unfold on a massive screen. Citizens crowded the streets, some crying, some cheering, as explosions lit the sky. They are incredible, she whispered. Our people are safe because of them. Ralvarine nodded, his face pale but proud. We thought we could defend ourselves, but humanity fights for others. Even General Aaron Vell, who had spent decades preparing for war, was humbled. He turned to his officers. We study them. We learn from them. This is how true defense looks. The Dominion fleet was not easily defeated. Their largest warship, the Crimson Dread, emerged from the shadows. Its weapons glowed brighter than any others, and it fired volleys of energy toward human ships. Maria Hale observed calmly. Do not panic, we adapt. We protect. Commander, the Dread is heavily shielded, one officer reported. Normal cannons may not penetrate, Jax Rowan nodded. We will combine firepower. Focus beams on weak points. Move in formation. Protect civilians at all costs. Human ships responded like a single organism. Cannons fired in perfect timing. Shields reinforced vulnerable points. Fleet formations shifted with agility no Union fleet could match. The Dread's massive shields began to crack under the coordinated fire. Dominion officers were shocked. Impossible. Our calculations are correct. Why are their cannons this accurate? One pilot shouted, they fight for others. That is why. Finally, a precise shot hit the Dread's engine core. The massive ship stalled, drifting powerless. Human boarding crews did not destroy it. Instead, they secured it and evacuated prisoners and civilians trapped inside. Back in the Union capital, the victory was celebrated cautiously. Humans did not return to parades or celebrations. They remained vigilant, their cannons glowing softly, ready for the next threat. Ralvarine spoke to the council. We thought humans came only as visitors, but they came as protectors. Their strength is not for conquest, but for guarding friendship. Counselor Sierra Moore nodded. They fought without hatred. Their cannons are weapons of promise, not terror. General Aaron Vell entered the hall. His uniform was smudged with dust from the battle communications. He spoke with quiet respect. We trained our fleet for decades, but humanity showed us another way. They protect because they care, not because they seek power. In the aftermath, citizens visited human ships to learn about their technology and discipline. Engineers shared repair methods, doctors offered medical lessons, and teachers demonstrated educational tools. Humanity had earned trust and respect across the Union. A young child approached Ambassador Maria and asked softly, "Do you fight even when there is no war?" Maria smiled gently. "We train, so when war comes, we can protect those who cannot defend themselves." The child nodded. "So your cannons are like promises?" Maria's eyes twinkled. "Yes, promises that friendship will be kept safe." Far from the Union, hidden in dark space, the Dominion fleet regrouped. Their leader stared at the human ships displayed on the holomap. They are stronger than we imagined, he growled. Not just weapons. They fight for others. Their courage is frightening, he slammed his fist. Prepare our fleets. Next time, we test humanity itself. The Dominion's retreat left a lingering warning across the galaxy. When humanity protects, even the most dangerous enemies pause. Back in the Union capital at a quiet observation garden, Ambassador Maria and Commander Jack stood together watching the stars. They believe we came only to trade, Jack said quietly. They see cannons, but they do not understand the reason. Maria nodded. They will. In time, they will see humanity is strong because we care. Strength without care is empty. Jax looked at the glowing human cannons in orbit. And they will always know we protect first, but we do not hesitate when danger comes. Maria smiled softly. That is the truth. Peace is worth defending. Always. As the night sky turned slowly over the Union, citizens whispered to each other. They thought humans came in friendship, and we thought they only smiled. But then we saw the cannons and understood the promise behind them. Above the planets, human ships glowed softly. Their cannons rested, their shields hummed, and their crews stayed vigilant. The galaxy had learned a lesson. Friendship can be gentle, but true friendship is also prepared. And humanity had returned not to conquer but to guard. The aftermath of the Dominion attack left the Vorel Union in awe. The citizens had witnessed human cannons in action, not as instruments of war but as tools of protection. The streets buzzed with energy as people celebrated safety and survival. But the leaders of the Union knew their work was far from over. Councillor Raoul Varan stood on a balcony overlooking the capital city. Buildings glowed softly in the evening light, and citizens waved and cheered at the human fleet hovering above. He felt a mix of relief and deep respect. They thought humans were only visitors, he said quietly to Councillor Sierra Moore beside him. They underestimated what it means to protect. Humanity has shown us the difference between fear and responsibility. Sierra nodded slowly. Their cannons are more than weapons. They are promises kept. Every shot disabled a threat without needless destruction. That is why they are so trusted now. Even General Aaron Vell, usually reserved and strict, found himself admiring the humans in a way he had not expected. They teach strength, yes, he said to his officers, but they also teach restraint. That is rare in the galaxy. Inside the UHS Resolute, Ambassador Maria Hale met with Commander Jax Rowan in the command room. The calm hum of engines filled the room as reports of peace returned from multiple planets. The Dominion will be cautious now, Maria said. They will think twice before challenging the Union again. Jax nodded. We have earned their respect, but we must also remain vigilant. Peace is temporary until it is defended. Maria smiled softly. Exactly. That is why our cannons will always be ready, not for conquest, but for protection. It is the same lesson we teach our allies. Strength is only valuable when paired with care. Across the Union, efforts began to repair the damage caused by the Dominion. Human engineers worked alongside Vorel teams, teaching them improved building techniques and energy shield technology. In the marketplaces, humans demonstrated advanced farming methods that allowed crops to grow faster and stronger. Doctors introduced new medical procedures that saved lives. In one small village, a young child approached a human soldier who had helped rebuild her school. Why do you help us? She asked, her eyes wide with curiosity. The soldier knelt and smiled. Because protecting others is what we do. Everyone deserves safety. The child nodded and ran off, repeating the words to her friends. Humans protect. Humans care. Even in the military academies of the Union, students began to change their understanding of strength. Lessons focused not just on strategy and tactics, but on responsibility and restraint. Cadets learned that power was valuable only if used to defend, not to dominate. General Aaron Vell observed one such training session. Young cadets were practicing defensive formations with guidance from human officers. The movements were precise and disciplined. They listen, Aaron muttered. They understand that defense is not weakness. It is preparation for those who cannot protect themselves. One young cadet approached Aaron. Sir, do you think humans will stay with us? Aaron smiled faintly. They will remain where they are needed and where they are respected. But know this, they are guardians, not rulers. They fight because it is right, not because they desire power. Meanwhile, political discussions began at a larger scale. The Vorel Union proposed forming an official alliance with humanity. not only for trade but for mutual protection. Humans agreed, seeing the potential to strengthen peace across the galaxy. The formal ceremony was held on the capital planet. Flags of multiple worlds waved in the sky and citizens filled the streets. Ambassador Maria Hale addressed the crowd. Humanity offers friendship, knowledge, and protection. We do not come to rule but to guard. Every world deserves safety, and we promise to stand by those who seek peace. The applause was thunderous. Leaders of the Union, along with General Vell, stood with the human delegation. It was a moment of unity that would be remembered for generations. While the ceremony concluded, children played near holographic fountains, drawing pictures of human ships and heroes. They imagined joining fleets, learning human methods, or studying alongside engineers who had once repaired destroyed villages. Archivist Leona watched them quietly. She recalled old records of humans in history, stories of bravery, protection, and unexpected kindness. She realized that the humans of today lived by the same principles as those of ancient times. They did not change, she whispered. They always protected even when the galaxy doubted them. Back aboard the UHS Resolute, Maria and Jax observed the stars. The galaxy stretched endlessly before them, full of opportunities and hidden dangers. Jax turned to Maria. The Dominion will not forget today. They will test us again, Maria nodded, and we will be ready. Not for revenge, not for glory, but because protecting others is the only path we know. Jax smiled faintly. And they will see that humanity fights for friendship, not fear. Maria looked down at the glowing cannons mounted across the fleet. Each one was silent now, a calm reminder of power held with responsibility. They will remember, she said softly, and they will respect it. In distant sectors, news of humanity's actions spread quickly. Civilizations who had never interacted with the Union heard the stories. Humans who protected colonies, who disabled enemies without unnecessary harm, and who offered aid immediately. Some civilizations feared the power humans wielded, but even they could not deny the honor behind it. The galaxy began to whisper a new truth. Humanity does not conquer. Humanity protects, and when danger appears, humanity's cannons answer the call. In the final days of the peace celebration, Counselor Ral Varane invited Ambassador Maria and Commander Jax to the observation garden overlooking the capital city. Lanterns floated into the sky and citizens waved from below. You have changed our world, Ral said quietly, not just by defending us but by teaching us that true strength is measured by restraint and care. Maria shook her head gently. We did not change you. You already valued peace. We only showed that protecting it requires readiness. General Vell stepped forward. Your cannons are not just weapons. They are symbols. Symbols of loyalty, protection, and courage. The galaxy has learned this lesson because of you. Maria smiled softly. Then it is time we continue our journey. But know this, where friendship exists, we will always protect it. As the sun rose over the capital, citizens and humans alike watched the human fleet prepare to depart to other sectors in need. Families waved, engineers shared final instructions, and children ran alongside the landing pads shouting, "Come back! Protect us again!" Maria Hale and Jax Rowan stood on the flagship bridge. Another mission awaits, Maria said. Jax nodded, but we leave a promise behind. Maria looked down at the planet glowing peacefully in the morning light. Yes, we leave behind the promise that friendship is worth defending, and that humanity keeps its promises. Long after the human ships departed, the Vorel Union reflected on the lessons learned. Peace was not fragile, it was guarded. Strength was not for fear, it was for protection. And the galaxy would remember this day as the moment humanity's true nature was revealed. Counselor Sierra Moore spoke to the citizens in a final address. They thought humanity came only with smiles. They brought cannons too, but these cannons were not for destruction. They were for protection, for us, for peace, for the future. Children repeated the words in schools. Engineers built defenses with care. Soldiers trained with discipline but remembered the lesson of restraint. Humanity had earned respect, and that respect would last for generations. Above the Union, the stars seemed brighter than ever. Somewhere human ships traveled across the galaxy, ready for new challenges. Yet even in their absence, the galaxy whispered the same lesson again and again. Humanity does not seek to rule. But if danger threatens, humanity's cannons will answer, always. And with that, the Voral Union and the galaxy beyond understood the truth. Friendship is valuable, strength is necessary, and humanity is both kind and unyielding when protecting those it considers friends. The galaxy had finally learned to respect humanity, not for fear of their cannons, but for the courage behind them.